One of the most powerful skills that you can have as an entrepreneur, as a person who has a gift, an expertise that you want to impact the world with, is actually having the skill of creating these premium offers that your clients, number one, can't say no to. Like, they would literally slap their grandma to get the opportunity to be transformed by what it is that you do, and being able to position it in such a way that you're not a commodity. You're able to charge what you're worth, because charging below what you're worth, believe me, it leads to burnout. It leads you to feeling resentful for the people that you serve. So that's what we're going to be going over in this video today, is how to actually create those types of high impact premium offers that clients can't say no to. So I want you to be 100% like honest, not with me, but with yourself right now. Does any of this sound like you? Like, are you feeling like either you already have a premium offer, something that you're charging, five, 10, 20, $100,000 for, and you just notice that you are either lowering your price with some people, you're raising it, you're changing it based on your feelings and what you feel that people can afford, or you're thinking about starting and launching a premium offer, but you kind of feel like, man, maybe people can't afford it, and you have these kind of limiting beliefs in your own mind of what other people can do. There's money out there. Trust me, there is money out there, and there's someone who is willing to pay premium prices for what you're already doing right now, or what it is that you're planning to do. And you may have this idea where you're like, I don't have a bunch of testimonials, so I can't charge a premium price. I have to, nickel and dime it, make myself a commodity. Or are you feeling overwhelmed even getting started? Or are you procrastinating in getting the ball moving, getting out and actually doing your daily revenue generating activities? Or just basically you've been trying to coach for free. Like right now, have you been lowering your prices like I was saying, or you're coaching for free just to, under the guise of like, I need to get some experience, then I'll start charging, or I'm just doing it a favor, and all these different things, but you're tired of it. You're tired of just giving, but you're not receiving. Energy has to flow. Not only do you give out, but you have to receive, or eventually your cup's going to run empty. You should be pouring out of the overflow. And I'm sure you probably haven't, this isn't your first training. You've probably gone through courses and maybe coaching programs, and you're sick of the big promises. The big promises that don't deliver. You don't get the support you need, or you don't get the plan, or somebody just jumps you into a program that's promising you that you're going to be able to build your course, build your program, build your coaching, and ultimately it's just some mindset stuff, law of attraction things, and then you're just supposed to go out and visualize it, and magic's supposed to happen, and you're supposed to have a multiple 6-figure, 7-figure, multiple 7-figure business. And you're just tired of it. You're tired of the hype, and you're looking for something real. So right now, let's be real. If any of that sounded like you, I want you to know, like right now, charging less than you deserve, it leads to burnout and decay. And I know, because I did it. I did it before. I thought I was doing a service to the world by undercharging. And before I realized it, I had filled programs with people who didn't value their own dreams, their own businesses, their own goals, much less value me and the value I give, because I put it on discount. And I always sold under myself, and I burn out. I burn out hard. And I wasn't able to give it the highest level. So that's one thing. I want you to really think about these things as we go through this training. Right now, there are over 2.5 billion people online. And I guarantee you that there are millions of them that are inside of your area of expertise. And they need what it is that you offer. But your offer right now is not set up, it's not positioned, it's not structured in such a way to actually hook them in, so that you're positioned as the trusted advisor from the start, even before they have their first conversations with you. And what I've learned is that the right offer at the right time and at the right price, one that's fair to you and fair to the potential client, can solve anybody's problem, because that's what we want. We are people who are problem solvers. If you're on this training right now and you're just looking for a way to get rich quick, you're looking to try to manipulate people, you probably should just go ahead and close out, because that's not what this training is about. This training is to help people who help people. This is to empower people who empower people. I want to show you how to take that gift that you've been given and be able to serve the world with it, and also free yourself as you free others. So right now, during this training, this is what I'm not going to have enough time to do, because I don't want this training to be ridiculously long. I want to give you what you need so that you can actually go out and start getting results. So I'm not going to be giving you the complete formula to building $100,000+ a year coaching business, or how to get back 10 to 20 hours per week of your free time, and how to 10x your clients' results so you get more impact. That's one thing I believe in. The better results you get for your clients, the better it is for your business. You'll have longevity. Anybody can go out and throw something in the market, make a bunch of money really quick, but can you last? Do you have staying power? And that's going to come from getting great client results and having something that's sustainable, that doesn't glue you to your computer, doesn't glue you to your business. You can still have a family, you can still have a life. So basically, that six-figure model, I'll still outline it for you here so you can get some clarity. There's three major areas you're going to need. One is money. Another is impact. And then finally, freedom. So the overlap between your money and your impact, if you're not charging what it is that you deserve, what it is that you're worth, even if you're making impact, it leads to burnout, because you don't have enough resources, you don't have enough energy to be able to receive, and it leads to burnout really quickly. And if you're getting money, but your freedom, you're tied to your business 24/7, you don't have a way to break, like you're gonna be unfulfilled. And if I actually have these words a little bit off, but inside of the actual model, but if you have money, if you don't have the money, but you have like freedom, you have a whole bunch of time, and you're making a whole bunch of impact, but you're not making the money, like you're headed for bankruptcy. And what I want to do is make sure I give you this skill so that you can start to grow it. So here are the three areas of a successful 6-figure, 7-figure, expert-based business. So on the one hand, you only need three things. One is your delivery. Inside of that is going to be your onboarding. Like, what do you do when you bring clients in? How do you fulfill on the promises that you made? That is your offer. The fulfillment is your offer. The fulfillment is your systems and how you deliver it. How do you structure your program so that people get the best results and it frees up your time? And then how do you graduate people from one level to the next inside of your business so that you increase what's called the lifetime value of your customers? And then your operations, building out teams and systems and being able to plan effectively. And then sales and marketing. How do you get a constant, steady flow of people who are beating a path to your doorway in order to pay you those premium prices, in order to have their lives transformed by you? So this is the blueprint. So some people start and they try to start way down here at the bottom where they're just selling a $47 thing or a $97 thing, and they're trying to, they think that's the way in. It comes out a lot of limiting beliefs where it's like, I'm not worthy. I don't have testimonials. I don't have experience. So I'll just charge $7. I'll just do it for free. I'll just charge $47. And what you'll see is it's really hard to grow that way. In order to get to $10,000 a month, how many $47, $97 spots do you think you have to sell every single month in order to hit that first threshold that I like to see my clients get is at $10,000 per month. So you got to sell at least 100 spots of that every month. And every month when you hit that mark, guess what? You're right back on the starting line, ready to fire it again to try and find another 100 people. You can see that leads to burnout. The best way is to start towards the top of this pyramid. So if you see here at the top, you have mentorships and masterminds. That's where you're charging $25,000 to $100,000. And then your coaching and consulting, where you're charging $3,000 to $12,000. This is your group coaching. This is where you're leveraging. This is where I would suggest starting with your premium offers. Is starting there in that $3,000 to $12,000 range and build it with the sawdust. So the things below it actually are going to get unfolded from the work you do with your clients at the $3,000 to $12,000 range. And you could just take portions of your program that you've worked with those people with, and those become your 1997. You fragment them off, and those become your 1997, your $2,000 to $500 to $2,000 course, and then you could fragment off pieces of that to become your $47, $97 offers as you scale, as you turn on ads, you reach a more broader audience. So there's actually a framework and a system and a process that successful scaling businesses follow. These are the things I'm not going to be able to really fully go into detail. Like I said, I don't want this video, this training to be extremely long for you. I want you to get some actionable things to take with you and run and start getting results. But here's an agreement I want us to make. I want you to make this with yourself, that I'm going to be showing you an outline, a framework that is going to be able to unlock $100,000, $250,000, $500,000 or more in annual revenue for your business. And I want you, I think it would be wise that when you see like, wow, I can really get that, I have that aha moment. I see how what I'm doing and what he's showing me, that like I see that gap and I see how that would work for me. I want you at the end, like I said, there's nothing for sale at the end of this video. At the end of this masterclass, I'm not going to ask you to buy some kind of course, some kind of program. Leave your wallets wherever it is right now. What I will do is at the end, I'm going to offer you a completely free clarity call where you can either jump on with myself or someone from my team and just get a game plan for how this would look in your business. How can you structure your business so that you get that time back? You be able to structure your systems, your teams, your sales process in a way that's truly scalable. So a little bit about me. I won't go super crazy into this kind of backstory. That's not why you're here. But just really quickly, if you look over here on the left-hand side, that's me. And I'm beside a gentleman, and we are in the Philippine jungle. And this was in 2016, because maybe about 3 or 4 months before that, I had actually given away everything that I owned to the poor and unfortunate. And I started traveling around kind of on like a spiritual journey or awakening. I kind of had like a vision to give away everything I owned and kind of travel around. And I loved on people who society had seemed to have forgotten, that seemed to not really want to exist, that had been marginalized. And I started getting to know their stories. I started helping them. I started loving on them. And I was really in search of my purpose. What is my gift that I was placed on this planet to give? And as I journeyed around and I found my way around, I discovered that my passion is actually helping people uncover their gifts and structuring their gifts in a way so that they can impact the world. So I feel that by me helping those who help others, my influence is able to spread that much further. It's kind of like waves. If I help shake your tree, I help shake you, and you impact all these other people, then in a way, I impacted them too. And that's the mission that I'm on. And I ended up starting one of my very first businesses inside of the affiliate marketing space. And I made quite a bit of money. I ended up taking over some coaching programs, and I built 2 successful multi-six-figure businesses along the way. And I got some amazing results for some of my clients. I started impacting the world. I mean, there's just a few testimonials here. There's so many. I wouldn't be able to put them on. I mean, I wouldn't be able to put them on this slide. But over here you have Kevin. He's a New York City police officer. He was able to retire early. And he bought a house, last thing I heard. And Andy here, here's some screenshots from Joel and just so many others. Because that's what actually made me the income that took me from having nothing in the Philippine jungle to the point where, I run 2 successful multiple six-figure businesses, is because I was able to impact the lives of others. I've been able to help others realize their dreams. And, not only have I helped others, but I'm constantly reaching out and getting help for myself. So that's one of the things, is that one thing, if I could go back to the early me and give myself some advice, it would be, don't wait so long to get help. So if you look here on the left, this is from one of my coaches in the program that I was in, that, I took what they taught me, I implemented it, and I hit the ground running. And, here in the middle and on the right is Traffic and Funnels, a multiple 8-figure business that consultancy that I ended up being an advisor for. So I was helping people in their company commit to plans and strategize plans that got them to 6, 7, multiple 7 figures. And I ended up realizing, this is one of the things that gave me my breakthrough to realize and start this aspect of what I'm doing. It's because I realized that was a part of my gift, that if I could do that in their company, I could do that on my own. And I branched out and I actually started doing what it is I'm doing right now. Now here is Joel Vasquez. Joel Vasquez was able to hit 30K in about 17 days of us restructuring and launching an offer that he had in the affiliate marketing space. He was really confused on exactly who it is he served, exactly what should go into his program. And then once we mapped it out and we repositioned it so that it was a premium offer, he only needed a few sales. Before, he thought he needed this numbers game. He had to talk to thousands and thousands of people. He had to be on this content hamster wheel. We had to post all the time and do all these different things. And all it took was a few tweaks, a little bit of changes in his messaging, who he was aiming at, and what he did for people. And now, with just a matter of a few sales, a handful of sales, a couple hours a day of work, he was able to surpass his prior income. So why master the skill of creating high impact offers? Number one, it gives you unshakable confidence and clarity in what it is that you're doing. Because if you know that what you provide is an outcome, a transformation that is almost like invaluable to that person, you know that when you speak to people on sales conversations, when you reach out to people, and when people reach out to you, you have certainty. You're like, I can help this person, and I know that my price is worth exactly what I'm asking for. You're going to be paid what you're worth, and you're going to be able to, because you have that influx of cash, you have that certainty, you have that clarity in your messaging, because you're clear on who it is and what you do. You're going to be able to scale and create content that's evergreen and is centered around a specific type of person. So it impacts exactly who they are. It picks up on the story, the conversation that they're already having inside of their own minds. And because you're able to do that, you're able to express the story that they already have inside of them, they're going to instantly credit you with the capability of being able to solve that problem. And you'll finally be able to make the impact that you know that you can and that you desire. What would that feel like? What would it feel like for you right now if you had unshakable confidence and clarity in your offer and who it is that you serve? What would it feel like to end a sales call or a sales conversation where you asked for your premium price? You said it was $10,000. You said it was $5,000. You said it was $20,000. And the person on the other end gladly said yes. There was no back and forth. Think about it. I don't know if it's worth that. I heard somebody else doing this. It was like, you're the person that I know I need, and I know I need this, and I know it's you, and I'm gladly willing to pay that. What would that feel like? How would that change your life? What would it feel like to actually have a business that is scalable, that's evergreen, so you don't have to be on this content hamster wheel, posting constantly on social media, constantly have to create new ideas, new things, that you can literally have a piece of a messaging, a content that constantly sends you qualified people that are interested and want what it is that you desire. So it's kind of like, what I'm going to show you is an impact offer is kind of like a snails racing a Formula One race car. There's just really no comparison. What most people are doing right now, just going out trying to sell their low ticket, commoditized cookie cutter Me Too offers, versus an impact offer, allows you to blow past this competition, allows you to shoot past them in your own lane and be able to scale while keeping a life, So the wrong way. Let's talk a little bit about some of the mistakes so that you can avoid them along this journey. One of the mistakes is trying to serve everyone and anyone. So the tendency that most people do is they try to go out and they go, I have this gift, this skill of coaching. Let's say you're a life coach or whatever, and you're like, people always come to me asking advice. I'm just going to be able to help people. I'm going to be able to coach people on relationships, their health, business, all these different things. You become a jack of all trades. That is one of the quickest ways to commoditize yourself, to be able to not charge premium prices. Think about it right now. If you were to go to a doctor, let's say you had a heart problem. Let's say you had already had a heart attack once in your life before, and you were starting to have some bad symptoms, starting to have chest pain, and you're like, hey, I need to go see a doctor. Who would you want to see? Would you want to go to your family practitioner, good old doc so-and-so? Or would you want to go to a cardiologist who's at the top of his field at a prestigious hospital and get his advice and get his help? Most likely the second one. You'd want the cardiologist. And as you probably can expect, the investment to get that type of expertise, that type of specialization is going to come with a price tag that's going to be more than what your family doctor would charge you for the same thing. Why? It's not because this person's cheating anyone. It's because of the actual value of the expertise that he has, the positioning that he has. When you're trying to be a jack of many trades, you can't charge as much as if you're a specialist. When somebody goes, I have this specific problem, and you're the first person that comes out like, this person solves that specific problem, that's when you can charge a premium price. And that's when you can separate yourself and no one else is like, me too. Not because right now in the coaching space, inside of the consulting space, it like anybody and everybody is coming online right now. And anybody and everybody can hang up their shingle and say, me too. I'm a coach. I'm a life coach. I'm a fitness coach. I'm a mindset coach. I help people with their energy clearing. I do all of these things. The barrier to entry is really, really low. And that's why it's hard for you to stand out right now. But if we position you and your offer in the correct way, you will be that cardiologist, that specialist that people go to when they really need help. Like, this is life or death. I can't be fooling around with just any Joe Schmo who hung up their sign saying they're an entrepreneur. And the wrong way is undercharging because you don't know what it is. You're not clear on what it is that you do. You're not clear on who you do it for. You're not clear on the transformation that you bring. It comes like usually you're charging really cheap, and it reflects that and it says that to the marketplace. So imagine right now if you went to a Bentley store and you were going to go buy a Bentley and they said, oh yeah, we right now we have these Bentleys, it's on sale for $5,000. You're probably going to, like, if you were going to buy it, you'd probably step back and be like, well, what's wrong with it? Well, why is that? Like, I don't know about this. Where you might have would have spent the money it took, but because it wasn't priced correctly. They were undercharging. It caused suspicion. And that's the difference between a person who is a premium client, a premium buyer, and a person who is a low ticket buyer. They have a different mindset. Cheaper, lower ticket buyers, people who like to buy things, either get them for free or pay $47, $97, $100 for their programs. They have a mindset that they're just looking for a deal. So they're the ones who are out price shopping. They're the ones like, how much can I get for this little amount right here? The difference is, and those are usually the hardest people to sell. Like, you got to fight tooth and nail because they're bargain shopping. When you step into a premium offer, you set yourself apart. When you were going to the cardiologist earlier in that example, you wouldn't be asking the cardiologist like, well, do you have any specials? You wouldn't be shopping around on price. You wouldn't say like, well, this cardiologist charges, $100,000 for his surgery, and this cardiologist charges, $50,000 for theirs. So I think I'm gonna go with the cheaper one to save some money. No, you want it done right, and you're willing to pay for that premium. And usually people who have that type of problem, they have the funds to invest, they make their decisions a lot quicker. Number one is why they actually have more money. Is because people who are successful and people who tend to make a lot of money make decisions quickly, and they change their minds slowly. People who tend to be financially strapped, financially hurting, tend to, or unsuccessful, tend to or make up their minds really, really slowly, and they tend to change it really, really quickly. Another thing that you'll see is that, like I was saying, not seeking help early on. I made so many mistakes early on in my entrepreneur journey just because I didn't know what I didn't know. But the second I started actually getting help from people who are already doing exactly what it is that I'm doing, that's when my results started to kick off. And right now, like grinding all day, grinding all night is something that if right now you're doing it, you're going to quickly see, you might even already start to feel it right now. Like, I can't keep this up. The whole Gary V grind your face off thing sounds good until you hit real life. And it doesn't have to be that way. With the right framework in place, you only need to have like a couple hours, maybe 1 or 2 hours per day invested into your business, as long as it's leveraged. Because leverage is the key point that creates wealth, that creates impact. So here's some common myths. This is one thing that I started off when I was first starting in my coaching journey. And what took me so long to get started is I thought I needed to do something that had never been done before. I was racking my brain like, I got to create this like never before seen type offer. And it has to be this new creative thing. This is what happens when you try to go out and do something that you feel has never been done before. That's usually 99% of the time, it's because it actually doesn't work. Maybe if this was like back in the early 2000s, late 1990s, when the internet was just in its infancy and most things hadn't been tried, everything was new. You could put out all kind of stuff back then and you could strike gold. And you just came up with these new ideas. But now, think about how many billions of people have been online trying different offers, trying different things. And pretty much everything that works has already been done. And the things that don't work, the reason why you don't see them is because they don't work. There is a few, like I said, outliers, that 1%, that 0.1% of things out there that are going to be new inventions in the marketplace and maybe revolutionize it. But those are so rare that I would not bank on it. You don't need to recreate the wheel. Don't recreate the wheel. Find a framework and a process that works and make it your own. Shift it, and that's how you're going to create your own blue ocean. Your own unique area is by your angle on that type of framework. And you don't need to add tons of features. So that's one of the myths, is like, if I'm going to charge premium prices, then I need to have 5,000 PDFs, 4 million videos. I need to have all these different things, like almost like this grocery bag that you just keep stuffing stuff in, and then you get this, and you get this on top of that. Let me tell you, like, when I'm a premium buyer myself, and whenever I see an offer that is just filled with all this stuff, it's 12 months of coaching, and you got 18 hours worth of course video and training to go through. The first thing I think is like, that's too much. Like, that sounds painful. That sounds super like I want my result, and I want it as directly and as little fluff and extra as possible. And that's what your clients are going to be feeling. Like, this may sound horrible, but people don't want to commit to, years and years worth of training with you, with all these things with you. It's like they want to date you first. They want to get a quick result. So I'd say like a 90-day or less thing on your front end for this premium offer. Think of it like this. You have a life preserver offer. And that's the thing, like right now, your ideal client is, you can imagine them in the middle of the ocean. They're drowning and they're screaming for help. They have a big, huge problem, and they are like, help, help, help. And they're searching online. They're watching webinars. They're watching trainings. They're getting free things. They're jumping on sales calls, trying to get help and save themselves out of this drowning situation. Your offer should be the life preserver that stabilizes them. It takes them over the course of several weeks, we say 4 to 12 weeks, and it solves those major problems and gets them that major result. Then you can have your longevity offer. This is the thing that allows them to work with you for the next 12 months after that, or go deeper, or have more of these things. So many times you dumping in all this stuff is actually shooting yourself in the foot, because all the things that you put in that one offer that you're selling for $450, you could restructure and reposition and actually have a premium offer, and some of those things would solve problems at a more advanced level that you could go deeper with them on. Just that restructuring allows you to charge more and allows you to go deeper and allows your clients to get better results. Because if you overwhelm them with all of this stuff, they're caught like a deer in headlights, and they're less likely to take action. And when you're starting out or you're scaling, like, you don't, and until you hit at least $50,000 a month, you don't need all these elaborate websites. You don't need sales funnels. You don't need complicated tech. You don't need fancy branding. Literally, when I first started, before I even started, when I first started hitting my 20K months, I didn't even have a training portal. I just had a private Facebook group that I put my paid premium clients in, and I put the trainings in Facebook guides and modules inside of the Facebook group. I didn't even have a logo. I had none of this stuff that most coaches and experts go out and they try to start with. They buy all the t-shirts and with the logo branding, they have websites and all these different things, and they're broke. They just spend all this money up front with no results, because that's not what creates results. Like, you have to have the cake before you put the icing on it. Don't go shopping for icing until you have the ingredients for the cake together. So let's go ahead and let's start into getting you clarity about, number one, who it is you serve. Because once you know who you serve and what they need, now it would just be a matter of structuring the solution to their problem in a way that is clear and concise, and they can see the value in it, and that becomes your offer. So I want you to ask yourself these 4 questions. Number one, who are you passionate about serving? So who is it that you're like, I just have this amazing heart for? Is it Is it women who have been in abusive relationships in the past and they're looking to get out? Is it married people who've been married for, 5, 10 years and they're starting to feel the lull? They're starting to feel like maybe the pizzazz is gone and they want to save their marriage. Like, who is it that you're 100% passionate about serving? I want you to get really clear on that. And this may take you a little bit to sit down. Maybe you have to sit down under a tree and just really reflect on these. Who is it that you're passionate about serving? The second question is, what's the big, hairy problem that they're both willing and able to pay to have solved? Because if they're willing, but they're not able, you don't have a business. So you have a whole bunch of people that are like, I want that, but I can't afford it. Or, conversely, if you have people who are able to pay it, they have the money, they have all the cash that they need, and it's not a big deal to hand you $10,000, $20,000, but they're not willing, meaning that problem that they have is just not something they're willing to spend money on. But when you find that problem, that big rock, that big hairy problem, that rock in their shoe that they're willing and able to pay money for, you've struck gold. You're going to be able to impact the type of people that you're 100% passionate about, and they're going to be willing and able to pay you what you deserve to actually solve that problem for them. Now, the third question is, what is it that you absolutely love doing? What is it that you love doing? Now, here is the caveat that puts all of this into alignment. If the answer to question number 3, what it is that you love doing, doesn't align with the answer to question number 2, what is that problem that they're willing and able to pay for, you need to go back to question number 1, the who. Who are you passionate about serving? And find a new who. One that the problem that they have that they're willing and able to solve is one that you actually love solving. Because if you pick a person, a type of people who has a type of problem they're willing and able to pay, and you don't enjoy solving that problem or you hate it, you may make a bunch of money out the gate. You may start making a bunch of money, but you're going to end up hating what it is that you do because the problem you solve is one that you don't like solving. So number 4 is, what is it that you're the best at doing? So once all of these align, you have the foundations to build an amazing business. And don't get too caught up over the 4th question, what are you the best at doing? Because if right now you're not the world's best at solving that problem, you can immerse yourself. With just a few weeks of immersion, you can be, more proficient, more advanced in solving that problem than 95% of the rest of the world. And you only have to be a few steps ahead of someone in order to help them. When you were back in elementary school and you were in 1st grade or a kindergartner, whenever you line up for lunch and you'd see the 5th graders, passing by, you were thinking like, whoa, those people are cool. Those guys are cool. I want to be like them when I grow up. They were your heroes. So you don't have to be this super advanced person in order to help someone. You just need to be a few steps ahead in order to help save them time, energy, money, or whatever, getting from the step they are to the step you're at. And as you advance, you'll be able to help more and more people. And remember, this is the only reason why anyone does anything. And that is to move away from pain and towards pleasure. So nobody wants to buy your course on relationships, on marriage, on weight loss. Nobody wants my program on business. Nobody buys a course. Nobody buys coaching. They don't want that. What they want is a transformation. They want an end result. They buy an identity. They buy who they want to be in the world. And they have a current pain that they're in. And the reason why they spend money and they do anything is to get away from their current situation, their current pain, and get to that ideal imagined place where they're like, that's who I would want to be. That's how I would want my life to be. And that's what causes people to act. So, people don't people buy those transformations, not the deliverables, not your PDFs, not your videos, not your all that stuff. So you can relax. You don't need to worry about dumping all that stuff in there. If I'm going to charge more, I need to add more. It's quite counterintuitive, but it's the truth. So right here, I have a picture of Harriet Tubman. If you don't know who she is, back in the olden days, back in the days when slavery was going about in the U.S., this woman was a slave in the South. And in the South part of the United States. And in the northern states of the United States, the slavery had been abolished. There was freedom. You could escape there. And one day, Harriet Tubman escaped her horrible slave masters in the southern states, and she traveled up north to freedom. But she didn't stay there. She remembered back to those people who were in bondage with her. And what she did is she started making journeys back into slavery and back into the slave states and taking former slaves and guiding them to their freedom. She provided a transformation for them. She came to them and she's like, hey, there's freedom in the North. There's a path there. And the problem that many people have. So imagine if Harriet Tubman were to come to those slaves back then and said, all right, so there's going to be a journey. It's going to be, 10,000 miles. It's going to be dangerous. There's going to be lots of work to do. There's going to be, nights we're going to sleep in the freezing cold. We're going to be constantly chased by dogs. We're going to have all these horrible things, all this work, all these activities. She told them all these little individual steps that they had to do along the way. How many people do you think would have went with Harriet Tubman? Probably not many, right? So imagine instead if she went and she came down there and she said, look, there are just a few milestones that we got to cross between here and your deliverance. So the first place we're going to go when we leave here, and you're going to be safe, I'm going to guide you. The first place we're going to go is the down tree by the old barn. There's going to be a safe house there. When we get there, we can spend the night and rest. Once we get there, there's just 2 more checkpoints along the way. We're going to leave from there and we're going to go to the river. And by the river, there's a cave. And by that cave, we can sleep in there. There's some supplies in there that were left for us overnight. And we go from there, and then we go to the third spot, and then finally we're in the North in freedom. And we just look for those few milestones along the way. How many people, because they can wrap their mind around that journey, they can conceptualize like that's doable, would actually take that journey with her. Your offer is the same way. You are the Harriet Tubman of your industry. You are the person who has most likely gone through something that made you an expert. You have experience in that thing. You've trained, you've learned, and you've found your freedom. You found your result. And now you're going back and you want your offer to be the journey. And you don't want it to be one where you're like, you're going to get 5,000 PDFs and you're going to get all these things and then all this stuff. And it's going to be hard work. And it's because why? People can't wrap their minds around that. That sounds treacherous and horrible. It sounds almost like which one is worth, staying where I am or doing all this stuff you have for me. But if instead you structure your offer with milestones, what are the 3 to 5 major milestones along the way from where your client is right now in their current state of hell or slavery or bondage, to the point where they want to be the transformation, the person that they want to be, that free man, that free woman inside of your niche? Is it that they now have 6-pack abs and there's just 3 milestones, 5 milestones along the way that they need to hit? And when they hit them, they can celebrate along the way. And this is how you know when you get there. That is how we're going to structure your offer. So you can think of it like this. You want to map out right now, once you're clear on your ideal client, what is that pain island? Where are they right now? What is the story they're telling themselves? What is the experience that they're having? What are their roadblocks? What are their problems? What are the things that they're telling or they're complaining to other people about? What are the things they never say anything to other people about, but they lay awake at night just stressing and thinking of it, so that you can express it and tap into that story inside of their minds? And then where's that pleasure? Like, what's the big end result that they want? Is it $10,000 a month? Is it to find a new spouse? Is it to, what is it? What is their pleasure island? And then your offer is that boat, that ferry in between. You're helping take people from their pain island to their pleasure island. So you provide that service, and it's an energetic exchange. What is that journey worth to them? That is what your price should be anchored to. Most people do this, and this is why they have this should set somebody free right now. This should set you free if you have this issue. The reason why you're feeling icky selling at a premium, $5,000, $10,000, $20,000, $100,000, is because you're anchoring the price to your own self-worth. You're anchoring the price to what you think your videos are worth, what you think your hour-long call every week is worth. That is not what people are buying. Instead, 'cause like I said, price has no meaning outside of context. What you should instead do is anchor the price, the investment, to what is that end result worth to that person. If this is a CEO who you help if you help CEOs improve and save their marriages, how much is a saved marriage worth to a 7-figure CEO? All the litigation he would avoid, all the times he would miss out with his children where he would be only on visitation, or maybe even not see his kids, or what is that worth? Is that worth $5,000? Is that worth $10,000? Is probably those prices, when put in context, are actually really small when you think about it. If I were to give you right now, if I were to say to you, I'm going to give you $100,000 in cash, does that sound like a lot of money? Sounds like a decent amount of money, right? Like, thank you, Tiger. This is a really good gift. But here's the caveat. What if I said, here's $100,000, but the caveat is you can never make or receive any more money for the rest of your life? Does $100,000 sound like a lot of money now? No, it's below poverty at that point. So you see how just anchoring the price, changing the context, changes the value of money. Money is an idea. So this is the way that you can conceptualize now your actual offers. But what you want to do is make sure that you're not making yourself a pack mule. So as you're going from Pain Island and you're ferrying people to their pleasure island, you don't want to get to the point where that journey, because you're going back and forth, now burdens you down. So what I see a lot of people do is they jump on they start taking on one-on-one clients, they start filling up their time schedule, and then before they realize it, they start to resent their business because they're overloaded. They're become a slave to their business. They left their 9-to-5 and they created a 9 a.m. to like a 10 p.m., 18-hour work day, 6-7 days a week type job, and you don't want that. You want to avoid that. And that's another huge aspect of creating an impact offer, because you need that freedom to be able to stay in your best creative state. You need to be able to live and enjoy your life so that you can have more to be able to give more. So a high impact offer is you can think of it like as leverage. That's the key point, is having leverage. So you can think of it as an online course that also has a coaching program attached. So I have this visual. Hopefully this actually helps you conceptualize what I mean. So right here, this is supposed to be the Earth and the moon. And this thing right here is a satellite, and that's a rocket. So right now it's labeled where your clients are. Let's say you're going to scale them to the moon. That's the concept behind, I guess, this graphic. So you're going to scale them to the moon. So right now they're on Earth. Their desire is, I want to go to the moon. I'm shooting for the moon. And what you do is you go, okay, I've been to the moon. I've been to where you want to be. I know how to get there. And you create a digital course. So the digital course is this straight dash line. This is the path. And these are those 3 to 5 milestones that I was talking about earlier. Those get your ideal client from where they are to where they want to be. It's the straight line. But what you're going to notice is that as humans, we never really walk the straight line. Life happens. Some people get confused, have questions. And what happens is, like this rocket, your clients take off in your program and they start to make progress trying to follow the path of your digital course, but they don't stay directly on path. And that's why you're there. Your coaching program, you have your weekly call where they have a Q&A call where they can jump on and you act as like a navigation device. So you see where they are and you compare where they are with the path they should be taking, and you answer their questions and you guide them along the way. So if they go off path, you can pull them back. You can reorient them. You can get them back on track all the way until they hit their goal. Now, this can't really be done with one-on-one coaching and be leveraged. With one-on-one coaching, it's trading time for money, and that's not scalable. You only have so much time in a day. But when you have a digital course, you're able to coach for 1 hour a week, 2 hours a week, have 1 hour. Let's say you do a coaching call on Tuesday and you do a coaching call on Thursday. 1 hour. One, you teach something, another, you just have a Q&A. When people come to those calls, they're able to come on there, they're able to interact with each other and find insights and have questions asked and answered they wouldn't even thought to ask. They can ask their own and allow you to guide them according to the plan so that they arrive to where they are. And what you see is that this is infinitely scalable. Those same 2 hours of coaching, no matter how many people you bring in, now can be served, but your actual time commitment doesn't go up. And because you have it systematized, now you can actually replace yourself. You can scale, you can hire new coaches, you can hire a team. So having things set up in this way, because this is what you're going to notice. It's kind of like being able to clone yourself like 1,000 times, because as you take on clients, so I do suggest the first few clients, taking them on one-on-one, just so that you can learn the process that they go through, where do they get stuck, how do they get hung up. And what you do is you record your process as you're working with these one-on-one clients so that you have your process mapped out. You do the work once teaching these one-on-one clients, you record your process, and now this becomes something that is you teaching that thing that you don't have to ever teach anymore. Because what you're going to notice is every client that you bring on, because you're walking them through a systematic process, the same milestones, the same journey, with the same type of people, with the same type of problem who want the same thing, 80% of the questions you receive are going to be the same. 80% of the things that people get stuck on are going to be the same. Now you can scientifically test and improve your process because you can see where the bottlenecks are in your journey. Going from the South to the North, going from slavery to freedom, going from bondage to freedom. And you can start to adjust. You can leave supplies at the safe house here. And this is where you know where to add in your resources. You know where to add in your PDFs. You know what videos to take out, what videos to add. So eventually you have a fully automated program that's getting amazing results. Why? Because it's built from the actual process of taking people through their journey. And like I said, you can systematize that and you can easily delegate those things and build a team. So now it is truly scalable, because the other way to do this is not scalable. Anybody that you hire on would have to be just as skilled, just as experienced, and have the same relationship with your ideal clients as you in order for it to work. But using this type of leveraged impact offer, now you literally can be like, while you're sleeping, there's a copy of you teaching your process to someone, no matter where they are in the world, what time they get on, however many times they need to hear it. Your clone, your version of you answering that question that you already know. When they get to that part in the program, that part in the journey, they're going to have this question, and guess what? It's already answered, and it doesn't take your time anymore. So let's go over a little bit over pricing really quick, and because that's the next thing. It's like, well, how much do I charge? How much can I charge? And here are the 5 factors that actually govern pricing. Number 1, it's the size of the problem that you solve. So if you're solving $5 problems, you can't put $1 million price tag on it. So what you want to do is, once you found your ideal client, you're looking for that big, hairy problem that is something that has a big impact on their either health, their wealth, their relationships. What is that thing? You may have to talk to a few people. You may have to interview some people and actually ask them like, hey, you mind if I ask you a few questions? You're a person who really represents the type of people I want to serve. And I really want to understand you so I can start building out my own business, my own thing that actually serves these kind of people. And start getting into, those type of questions like, well, what was the bottlenecks for you? What did you complain about? What are some of the things that, you felt that maybe you never even shared to anyone? Start to get into that story. And that is $1 million for you. Understanding that. The second thing is the sophistication level of the problem that you solve. So if you have a problem that anybody and everybody can do, let's say you're like, oh, I'm going to start cutting grass for people. So like anybody and everybody can go grab a lawnmower and cut grass. So you can't really charge a whole bunch of money for something that anybody and everybody can go do, because then people will start to price shop you. But then the same idea of that family doctor versus that cardiologist, because his sophistication level of what it is, the problem that he solves, not everybody can go do an open heart surgery. So he's able to charge more. He's able to command a higher price point. So that's the second thing, is sophistication level of the problem you solve. The third thing is the length of time that the person has had the problem. So if you try to solve a problem for a person that they've had for 5 minutes, you're not going to be able to charge as much as you would if you're solving a problem that someone has been struggling with and fighting with, and they just can't figure it out and they're desperate for help. Now, I'm not talking about that individual person. I'm talking about that avatar, that type of person. So imagine this: if you were helping people who are single find, potential dates for the weekend, that's a different payday. Helping them solve that problem of finding dates is a different payday than helping married couples who are on the verge of divorce, who have been in long-term relationships. They've been married 15 years and they have kids, they have mortgages, they have careers and businesses, and they're on the verge of divorce and they're looking to save it. Do you see what I'm saying? That length of time, that sophistication level, and that size of problem goes into having a more powerful offer. The next is the speed at which you can solve the problem. Because when you're in a problem, a real problem, let's say your marriage is on the edge of ending on divorce, you don't want to go through a 12-month program to save your marriage. Nobody wants to, well, here I got 12 months. I'm going to coach you through it. And you think like, because I'm throwing so much of my time, I have 15 steps that you go through to do all of this stuff. You think because you're giving so much of your work to them that you could charge more, but that's not what they want. They want their problem solved, and they want it solved as quickly as possible. And the faster you're able to provide that solution, the more you can charge. And then finally, the certainty level at which you can solve the problem. If you're 100% certain that you can solve the problem, that's a different payday than if you're like 20% certain. And many times the amount you charge lets the marketplace know that. Like if you were out there saying, hey, I can run your ad campaigns. Let's say you were helping businesses get leads through paid ads, and you're like, I'll run your ad campaigns, I'll write all your creatives, I'll do all these different things, and I'm just going to charge you $500. I'll help you get, 6 figures of revenue and all of this stuff per month, and I'm going to charge you $500. Something doesn't add up. That lets the person know, like, there's some certainty issues there. So when you charge your worth, you go to that Bentley store and they put the correct price tag on it. It lets them know that this is the real deal versus, I don't know if I can do this, so I'm going to charge less. So that's the quickest way to know whether you're dealing with a person who's a newbie or a person who can really solve your problem, solve it quickly, solve it at a high sophistication level, and solve the problem of your magnitude, because the price reflects that. Right here, I have an example. This girl, her name's Rachel. She works for an 8-figure design, like branding company in New York. And she was trying to start a branding company on her own on the side. And because of her own feelings of like imposter syndrome and trying to charge low because she didn't have testimonials and all these different things, she was out doing free work, like building out websites, building out branding packages, all these things, or charging just a couple $100 and doing it for friends and family, and just working herself to the bone for several years, struggling and wondering why didn't it happen. And when we put these concepts into place for her, we shifted her offer. We aimed it at the correct type of person with the correct type of problem. Then immediately she went out, she closed and made $7,200, and they're going to be paying her $1,500 every month just for a single brand contract. And then she went on and she closed even more since then. But just those results, just from shifting what she was doing and the way she was looking at things, took her from free, doing her work for free and next to nothing, to the point where she was actually bringing in, $7, $10, $20,000 per month. So, what I've shown you today is just one piece of the puzzle. Like I said, the offer is the foundation of everything. But in order to create this full spectrum of your successful scalable business, there are these few key things. So I'm going to show you kind of like this map. So getting clear on the avatar and your message to them, and then your offer of what solves that problem. And then once we're able to have that in place and you're making that offer and you're making sales, now you can automate it. Now you can create content that's evergreen. And then you can have your leads, your content, and your delivery set up. But all of these would look different depending on your business, depending on your level. So what I want to do is I want to open up a completely free clarity call so that you can jump on a call with myself or my team. It's going to be a first come, first serve opportunity. You'll be able to jump on and we can talk about what this would look like in your business. Who your who is. What do you do for them? What are your milestones? How do you set up and get your lead gen and your sales process and all these things in place so that you have a scalable business, so you can get your time back, you have your wealth, your prosperity, you're able to make impact in the way that you can. So there should be either a button under here or some place, some type of way to be able to click and schedule this call as long as it's still available. And what I want you to do is go ahead and get that scheduled today. And I look forward to talking to you soon.